That was the moment the lie broke open. For 42 years I believed a mother's life was a debt that never cleared. My son stood in the home I had cooked for, cleaned, paid for, the home where I had nursed him through fevers, where I had wept alone after his father died, and he ordered me out like an intruder. "You give your room to my wife, or you pack your bags." The words weren't whispered. He shouted them across the dinner I had made with my own hands. My sister-in-law, Carol, looked away. My granddaughter, Emily, lowered her head. And my daughter-in-law, Jessica, sat beside him with that small, controlled smile she used when she knew she was going to get her way. No one spoke. No one defended me. In the heavy silence, something inside me broke, not into sadness or rage, but into a strange, perfect clarity. I saw my life exactly as it was, and I saw the lie that had held me there. I placed my silverware down. The soft clink cut through the stillness. "All right, Mark. I'll go pack my bags." I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I rose from that table with my spine straight and walked to my bedroom while they sat frozen behind me. That night, after the fake laughter and clinking glasses finally faded, I sat on the edge of my bed with my phone in my hand. Sharon, my dearest friend, had sent me a real estate listing weeks earlier, a tiny white house perched above the ocean, a wide deck facing the water. She'd written, "Someday we'll toast the sunset." I had replied with a laughing emoji, as if it were a distant fantasy. But that night, I opened the listing again. The house had 2 bedrooms, a bright kitchen, and a price of $180,000. I opened my banking app. My savings sat there, untouched, $210,000. I had built that money over decades. Years of freelance accounting, years of clipping coupons, years of saying no to trips, to nice clothes, to small pleasures for myself. Mark's college tuition. Mark's first car. Mark's wedding. Their rent when they were short. After my husband's funeral, I had poured every ounce of love into my son, believing that sacrifice was the same as devotion. The lie was calling it love. That night, with the sound of their entitled voices still ringing in the walls, I saw the truth stark and naked. My savings were mine. And I was finished pretending. The next morning, I dialed the real estate agent. By 11 o'clock, I was driving the 2 hours to the coast, windows down, playing the songs I'd loved when I was young, before motherhood swallowed me whole. The house was even lovelier in person. Sunlight poured through the windows, and the deck looked out over endless blue water. The agent, a kind man with a white shirt, asked if I needed time to think. "No," I said. "I've been making decisions for 69 years. This is the first one made only for me." I signed the initial papers right there on that empty kitchen counter. When I left, I stood on the deck and took a picture of the horizon. I sent it to Sharon with 2 words, "I did it." She called me, screaming with joy. I told her Mark knew nothing, and I wasn't telling him until I was already gone. Returning to my old house felt like stepping back into a cage. But something had shifted in me. The mask began to slip. Jessica handed me a grocery list for a party they were throwing: expensive wine, imported cheeses, premium cuts of meat. "It's your house," she said, as if that settled everything. I folded the paper and handed it back. "I thought it was yours now. Pay for it yourself." Her mouth fell open. She stormed off to tell Mark that I was being impossible. A few days later, they cornered me in the living room. They were being evicted from their apartment. "We'll stay here," Mark said, not asked. "Just a few months. You have this huge house all to yourself." I looked at my son, the boy I had carried, fed, sacrificed everything for, and I said, "No. Solve your problems like the adults you are." Mark's face twisted with shock and rage. "Since when are you so selfish?" "I'm not selfish," I replied. "I'm just done being used." While they slept in my stolen bedroom, I was making moves they couldn't see. I met with my lawyer, Susan, a sharp woman from my walking group. We updated my will, my granddaughter Emily would receive 60%, Mark, 40. A clause specified that anyone who contested the will would forfeit their share entirely. I put the house on the market, scheduling showings only when Mark and Jessica were out. It sold in under 2 weeks for $315,000. I rented a storage unit and quietly moved out the things that truly mattered. Old photographs, my husband's watch, the quilt from Oaxaca he had bought me on our last trip together, a few precious books. Every box I carried felt like a pound of weight lifted from my shoulders. And then, one evening, I stood before them in the living room. My heart beat steadily. My hands did not shake. I sold the house. The new owners take possession Sunday. You have 3 days to move out. Mark shot to his feet, his face paling. You can't do that. This is my home. It's in my name. The sale is legal. I've already consulted my lawyer. Jessica's voice trembled with fury. You cruel, selfish old woman. I let the word hang in the air. Cruel. Cruel is shouting at someone to pack their bags in their own home. Cruel is taking a bedroom without asking. Cruel is treating the person who raised you like a servant. I gave you 42 years of solutions. I'm done. Mark stepped into my path. Who are you? This person isn't my mother. You're right, I said. That mother got tired of being invisible. I stepped around him, walked upstairs, and locked my door. Through the walls, I heard Jessica's sobs and Mark's frantic phone calls to lawyers who told him the same thing I already knew: the sale was ironclad. That night, my phone rang. It was Emily. Grandma? Dad told me everything. I was at that dinner. I heard what he said. I just want you to know, what you did is right. You deserve respect. Her words wrapped around my heart like a warm blanket. I told her she was always welcome in my new home. She promised to visit soon. Moving day dawned bright and sharp. Sharon arrived early with her SUV, and we loaded my remaining suitcases. I walked through the empty rooms one last time: the kitchen where I'd cooked thousands of meals, the backyard where my husband used to read the Sunday paper, the bedroom that was now stripped of every trace of me. Mark stood in the living room, barefoot in his pajamas, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. You're leaving, he said. Yes. Can I have your new address? I'll give it to Emily. She'll decide if you're ready. He swallowed hard. His voice cracked when he said, I'm sorry I failed you. I looked at my son, still my son, always my son, and I said, gently, I love you, Mark. But I'm not letting that love destroy me anymore. Then I closed the door behind me, and I did not look back. The beach house welcomed us with open windows and the steady roar of waves. Sharon and I unpacked, laughed, and toasted the sunset with a bottle of white wine. In the days that followed, I met women who walked the shore at dawn: Diane, a retired teacher, and others who had also given everything away and were finally learning to ask for something back. We formed a quiet tribe. We walked, we talked, we sipped coffee and watched the tides. Emily came to visit, and we cooked fresh fish together on the deck, laughing in the salt air. She posted a photo of us with the caption, visiting the bravest woman I know. The lie I had inherited, the lineage passed down through generations, was that a woman's worth lies in her empty hands, in how much she gives away. But here, with salt wind on my skin and a glass of wine at sunset, I unlearned it. I wasn't selfish. I was simply, finally, taking care of the person I had neglected my entire life. Then a package arrived from Mark. Inside was a framed photograph, Mark at 5 years old, riding on my shoulders in a sunlit park, both of us laughing with pure, uncomplicated joy. And a letter, handwritten, the ink slightly smudged. He wrote, Mom, I found this picture while unpacking. It reminded me of who you always were, my refuge, my support, my everything. I'm in therapy now. I'm learning the patterns I repeated without even knowing it. I'm learning that love isn't taking. I'm not asking you to forgive everything right away. I just want you to know I'm working to be better. For me. For Jessica. And someday, I hope, for you. I love you. I've always loved you. I traced the words with my thumb. Then I picked up my phone and typed a short reply. Thank you, Mark. I'm proud of you. That night, I stood alone on the deck. The dark ocean stretched endlessly beneath a cold, bright moon. After 69 years on this earth, I finally asked myself the question I should have asked decades before: what do I need? The answer rose up, clean and unwavering. Peace. Freedom. The courage to choose myself. And for the first time in my life, I did. Now I wake each morning to the sound of waves. I walk barefoot at the water's edge, letting the cold foam wash over my feet. I took a selfie once. Hair windblown, no makeup, every wrinkle on my face telling the truth of my years, and I sent it to Emily. Good morning from paradise, I wrote. She replied with a row of hearts. The waves erase my footprints as I walk on. And I keep walking, lighter with every step, into a life that is fully, unapologetically my own. The lineage of lies ends here.